Today in Oklahoma City, before the parade, the team will gather inside the Paycom Center for a ceremony featuring player speeches and the team hoisting the Larry O'Brien Trophy. The Thunder are the seventh different franchise to win the NBA championship over the last 7 seasons, marking the first time in NBA history that 7 different franchises won the title over a 7-season span. The Thunder are the favorites to repeat at plus 210. Keith, I'll start with you on this one. Which team is the biggest threat to a Thunder repeat?
I would say there's a bunch of teams in the West, right? You got the Timberwolves that could get better. You got the Lakers. You got the Clippers. You got Denver. You got Houston. Like, I think all those teams are going to be contending. It's going to be a tough West. You got the Lakers that I thought and a lot of people thought if they was to match up with the Thunder in the playoffs last year that the Lakers would win. I also believe the Clippers had a great matchup with them. And also now you got KD in Houston, so it's wide open as it ever been. I don't think that. I think there's a couple teams that will be able to challenge them next year in the Western Conference.
So there's an interesting event happening today that references this question, Molly, and that's in Denver today. They are introducing their new front office. They're going to have co-vice presidents, Ben Tenzer and Wallace. John Wallace is going to be being introduced as co-vice presidents. And I'm very interested to hear from them because while the one team's having a parade, the team that I think that can really challenge them is the Denver Nuggets because of Nikola Jokic. I have so much respect for them. And let's not forget, they went to 7 games with this championship team this year. And if Aaron Gordon didn't have that hamstring issue, who knows how it might have gone differently. I respect the Thunder, of course. They won it. They deserve it. But this team is close. And quite frankly, over the last couple of years, the Nuggets have not done a good job of maximizing Jokic. And they have allowed several key players to leave. They have now moved on from a championship head coach and a championship-winning general manager. And I want to see what they say about how they're going to improve this team. Because I still think Denver, I want to be real. Denver's lost 2 7-game series in the last 2 years. I think if they win either of those game 7s, there's a chance they could have three trophies. Because I really respect how good they are. And again, that's not taking away anybody from the East. That's not taking away from the Celtics last year. The only team in the league the Celtics didn't beat last year was the Nuggets. The Nuggets were 2-0 against them. We'll never know what would have happened. But I think a big thing this summer that's an underlooked at thing is Nikola Jokic going to sign his contract extension? He's got 3 years on his contract. There's no real stress. He's never been a player who's ever done anything but sign right away. But if I was Jokic, I would want to be hearing from my front office what we're going to do. I'm watching an arms race in the West. I'm watching teams that are maybe going to finish 7th, 8th, or 9th try to staff up.
I hear you. And if you want to look at the organization, let's be very, very specific. Look at the organization, not the players. Because had you kept Bruce Brown, had you kept Jeff Green, had you kept a Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who obviously struggled in Orlando this past year, but had you kept those guys, instead of letting them walk out the door, what would have happened to the Denver Nuggets? They may very well have won at least one, if not both, of those game 7s, okay? Because they've clearly shown they have the ability to do it. Their depth was what we questioned. In terms of what they gave you, in terms of what their starting 5 and with Russ, whether he was starting or coming off the bench, depending on which game it was, you looked at them and said that they had some of the pieces, but you questioned their depth and how much you were asking of Nikola Jokic in order to deliver the day. We know what Jamal Murray can do come postseason time. We know what he is. We know what he has shown himself in too many big moments, and you're absolutely right about the health of Aaron Gordon. But since we're bringing that up, if we're going to look at the organization, you got rid of the coach and your GM. So now you're replacing them, and then you got dual individuals. You got 2 individuals playing a certain position in the front office. Okay, let's see what they do with that. But I'm going to throw out this name, and obviously health predicates everything. We understand that. A healthy Dallas Mavericks would be my answer to this question. Because when I watch OKC over the last 2 years, I watched the Dallas Mavericks take them out in 6 games last year, and then I watched the Dallas Mavericks without Luka 1 game beat the Oklahoma City Thunder this year. When they were rolling against everybody else, they were derailed by the Dallas Mavericks. I'm looking at a Dallas Mavericks squad. We talk about Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein. Well, what you gonna do against AD, Anthony Davis, with Lively, okay, with Gafford? What you gonna do when you got to deal with Kyrie, if you Shea and Jay Will and the boys, and Dort? Let's not forget Dort and Caruso. I understand how electric they are defensively. A healthy Kyrie Irving with the ball in his hands, I'd like to see that.
I haven't heard the other name
I'd like
they're going
to
to call
that.
tomorrow night.
Excuse me.
I was there.
Of course.
Cooper.
Cooper Flag.
That's a
Yeah.
good answer.
And I was there for
Thank you.
all 4 of those games this year.
Well, hold
I
on
was
now.
there for all 4 of
Hold-
those games this year, and Dallas are definitely one of those teams that
I'ma
pushed them and the player you didn't name was PJ.
Yeah, I was gonna go there, but Wendy chimed in. But I was gonna go with PJ Washington. I was
Guys, I
gonna get
just
him.
have
I was gonna mention him.
really quick though, the 2 teams with the second best title odds are actually the Cavs and the Rockets.
I understand that, but that's because they're healthy and Dallas is not. But if Dallas come back, you better watch
We
out
got
for
to
the
see
Dallas
Cavs do
Mavericks.
something.
Well, real talk.
Yeah.
The team from the East, if you're in the Eastern Conference right now, you're kicking back and you're ordering a cocktail. Because, the West, they're beating each other over the head. And the Eastern Conference, because of these Achilles tendon tears, which are crazy,
Right.
these teams are, the Celtics are scaling down. I don't know what the Pacers are going to do. I don't know if they're going to keep this whole team together and pay the luxury tax. I don't know what the Bucks are going to do because they're scaling down in the East. If the answer to this question, in all honesty, is probably whoever wins the East. Because whoever wins the East might have a much easier road than whoever has to go through the Thunder in the West.
I don't view it that way. I view it as that the tougher the road, the more conditioned you are to deal with adversity come championship round. So that's how I view it.
That sounds good, but when you look at these guys falling down and they're going through these 6-7 game series, and you can maybe go through the East a lot easier, it sets you up totally different.
hear
Keith,
you.
break the
But
tie on that. What would you say? It's easy. You'd pick someone out of the East just because the path's easier, or would you go West because they're battle tested?
The Thunder lost 1 game to an Eastern Conference team this year. 1 game. It's the teams that's in the West that's going to compete. They can't compete with.
All right, Bobby, what do the Lakers need to accomplish here in the next week or thereabouts to become championship contenders?
They need 2 things. They need a center, and that is priority A. And then, of course, they need some perimeter shooting here. Now, listen, they've got expiring contracts to go out and make a deal over $60 million. Keep an eye on the draft pick they have in 2031 or 32. We saw they tipped their hand in the Mark Williams trade that was voided back in February, that they are willing to go out and make a big deal if they can get a center for Luka, a lob threat, rim protector that they sorely needed.
What feels realistic, Wendy, here in the next couple of weeks?
Well, if the Lakers are committed to playing Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, and it seems like that they are going to need some defensive protection from them because teams are going to attack there. So ideally, you could have somebody that could defend a little bit more on their perimeter to use them, and you need a backline center. The Lakers are going to come into any negotiation, as Bobby said, knowing that they gave what they gave for Mark Williams last year, so teams are going to be looking for that first-round pick in the pick swap. So good luck to Rob Pelinka for trying to keep those on the table if he is going to try to make a bargain deal.
Yeah, he made the great move for Luka, and now we'll have to make a few more. Keith, you were there with the Lakers. Yeah, I'm gonna ask you a complicated question. I understand it's not easy to answer this honestly. How close did you guys feel? The Minnesota, that we sort of described it as a bad matchup. How close did you guys feel to being a championship team?